Hello, I'm State Senator John Kavanagh, and welcome to another edition of Kavanagh's Corner, my information broadcast. First, please excuse the lack of the fancy animated introduction that you usually see at the start of these broadcasts, but the Arizona State Senate building has been shut down for the last couple of weeks and will be shut down until the end of this month because it's getting a massive rewiring. The wiring was pretty old, and they thought it might fail during the session, so they're pretty much gutting the main wiring and replacing it. So I don't have access to the studio. Before I begin this Kavanaugh's Corner discussion about Prop 314, the Protect Our Border ballot measure we'll be asked to vote on, I want to ask everyone who has received early ballots to send them in as soon as possible. And I say that because the campaigns regularly check the recorder's office and get new lists of people who have not yet voted. And those are the people that they send their mailers and robocalls and text messages to. So you can save your campaigns that you vote, that based on candidates that you voted for, you can save those campaigns money by getting your ballot in early, and they don't have to go to the expense of going after you, and they could focus on people who haven't voted yet. Now, the way you do that is you can go to the county recorder's website, and they should have rather prominently on the opening page a little box you can click to find polling places near you. Now, be sure to look at the date that the polling place will be staffed by somebody. I went to one the other day at ASU West. There are some more, and there are others around open right now. There'll be more opening on the 25th. So go to that website, find one near you that is staffed, and you can give it in person. Of course, if you're okay with a mailbox or a drop box, you can do that too. But a lot of people want to make sure it gets there, so you can check those locations. Okay, let's get to Prop 314. Prop 314 is designed to protect the border from very dangerous people and deter illegal aliens from entering our country, and also to save the taxpayers some money. Let me go over the major provisions of Prop 314, a referral that I co-sponsored. The first and the most known one is that it will allow state, county, and local police to arrest people under a state charge for crossing across the border between legal entry ports of entry if they have probable cause to believe the person is entering illegally. Now, you may ask why this particular focus. Well, we crafted this law after a similar Texas law that is currently being challenged in the federal courts and that we hope prevails. President Trump had the border under pretty good control. But the first day of the Biden-Harris administration, President Biden canceled Trump's stay in Mexico order, which required that people seeking asylum, almost all of which are bogus, to wait in Mexico or their home country for their case to be adjudicated. Since most of them were phony and they knew that they would never get adjudicated to enter, they just didn't bother coming. But that was canceled on day one by Biden-Harris. And of course, Biden-Harris also canceled almost 100 other Trump executive orders that made it more difficult for people to enter the country illegally. The result is something that we have all seen on TV. The tsunamis, the tidal waves of illegals crossing our southern border, the large caravans, sometimes stretching a mile long, winding their way up through Central and South America and Mexico to enter our country illegally. So, if these people under Biden-Harris go to a legal port of entry and just say that they fear for their safety in their home country because they're persecuted, they will be given legal entry and told to show up for a court hearing to see if their claim is just in a year or two. They'll be given food. They'll be given a place to stay. They'll be transported to, no doubt, a friendly city around the country where they'll get more benefits. So why would somebody cross in between the legal ports of entry and not get all these great benefits at the ports of entry? Well, the answer is that a lot of the people who go in between ports of entry do that because they would not get through a port of entry where they'd be checked. They'd be discovered that they were previously deported for a violent crime. It'll be discovered that they're on a terrorist watch list, as some have. In addition to that, they may be trafficking fentanyl, or perhaps they have young ladies with them and they're human traffickers bringing these people to prostitution or illegal, cheap labor somewhere. So it's the bad actors that are crossing between the legal ports of entry, and those are the people that Prop 314 targets. Again, a police officer has to have probable cause that the person is crossing the border illegally between a port of entry. That's a pretty high bar. Probable cause is what cops need to arrest people. Now, the opponents of 314, they're claiming that this will cause massive, unjustified harassment and sweeps of Hispanics all over the state. That's baloney. The law clearly states it only applies in between legal ports of entry on the border. So that's a bogus argument that they're putting forward. In addition, Prop 314 will increase the penalty for selling fentanyl when a person knows it's fentanyl and it causes the death of someone. Fentanyl is flowing across our border. It's killing people, especially our children, and we need to crack down on it. A third provision will require state and local governments that dispense benefits like food stamps, welfare, whatever, hotel vouchers, to run the person's name through the Federal Immigration Data Bank to make sure that they're here legally, because we don't want to give taxpayer-financed government benefits to illegal aliens. It's a waste of taxpayers' dollars, and it encourages them to be here. And the final provision of Prop 314 will increase the penalty if somebody offers phony documents that they're here illegally in order to get employment, because we want to crack down on illegal aliens getting bogus jobs and taking those jobs away from U.S. citizens. So let me address one final argument that the opponents of Prop 314 are making, and that is that it will cost a fortune to defend in court and for the incarceration of people apprehended. Well, it will cost us nothing in court, because the way we crafted this bill, it only becomes active if the Texas law, which it was modeled after, is found constitutional by the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court finds it unconstitutional, then this law will never take effect and there will be no court cases. If it's found constitutional, there can be no court cases because it's been affirmed as being legal. So that's another bogus argument. They also claim that we haven't allocated money to enforce it. We have $56 million in this year's budget for local police to engage in border immigration enforcement. So we have that money there already. In addition, they're claiming there'll be massive incarceration costs because the penalty for crossing illegally as a state crime is 6 months in an Arizona prison. However, we have a provision that if the person isn't on a terrorist watch list, doesn't have outstanding warrants, wasn't caught with fentanyl or human trafficking, they will be given the option of being escorted to the border and released on the other side. So why would somebody choose to go to an Arizona prison for 6 months when they can just go across the border if they didn't have these disqualifying circumstances? So anyway, the bottom line is we need Prop 314. The border is in chaos. There's a temporary reduction in the crossings because as soon as the election got close, the Biden-Harris administration realized that the economy and illegal immigration were the two leading concerns of voters, and they quickly tried to seal or at least reduce the number of crossings. But trust me, they didn't do it for 3.5 years. They canceled all of Trump's border security measures. If Vice President Harris is elected, they'll go right back to their old policy and open those border walls wide open. So, by the way, I engaged in a rather interesting hour-long televised debate with Democrat Representative Ortiz on Prop 314. So if you want more information about it, you can watch that debate, and I will give you a link. It was sponsored by the Clean Elections Commission, and I'll have a link on this posting for you to go to. So that's it, and thank you for watching Kavanagh's Corner.